There, and welcome to another episode of Strange Times Poetry Broadcast. I'm coming to you live from the Poetry Bookshelf to read you three uplifting poems. If you haven't watched us before, please check out Strange Times Poetry Broadcast Facebook page. Like, subscribe. You'll know when all the new videos are coming out or if we're doing anything else awesome. So today I'm going to be talking about checking in with the body. As I say it, I start checking in with the body with my shoulders because this time, boy, has it been a lot on the body. Yes, we're staying at home, we're locked into Zoom, into the computer, but we're also trying to hold it together, to be strong, to keep on moving, and all of that is just crunching up the body, closing it up, and it puts a lot of strain everywhere. I know that for me, it's almost automatic. If there's stress, it goes into the body, and it's important to work on breaking those cycles. That's something that you can work on, through mindfulness. But also, I think poetry often has these moments of connection between language, body, and mind. And these three authors really do that in an interesting way. The first poem that I'm going to read is by Mary Oliver. It's from The Leaf and the Cloud, a poem. And this poem is not so specifically about a single part of the body, or it's not a blazon, an ode to each part of the body. It really is, the way that it brings the body in is through movement and how those movements open up different questions, inspiration, and epiphany. And Mary Oliver is somewhat of a controversial poet because of her mass popularity. I think there's sometimes some doubt about how authentic or truly literary her poetry is, but I think that her poetry is powerful, it is ecstatic, it relates to nature in a truly wild way. She's almost a wild creature of the forest, and just because it's successful doesn't mean it's not good. That just doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what to make of that one. Anyway, this is from a long poem called From the Book of Time, and it's just section 5. And just pay attention to how the body in motion opens each part of the poem up. 5. What secrets fly out of the earth when I push the shovel edge, when I heave the dirt open? And if there are no secrets, what is that smell, that sweetness rising? What is my name? Oh, what is my name that I may offer it back to the beautiful world? Have I walked long enough where the sea breaks raspingly all day and all night upon the pale sand? Have I admired sufficiently the little hurricane of the hummingbird, the heavy thumb of the blackberry, the falling star? I love how this poem both opens up through the digging, heaving the dirt open, and walking. And it opens up to these questions of appreciation, of looking around, of looking outside the self. Have I loved this world enough? Even in difficult times, there's a lot to love here. And sometimes to go outside of ourselves and to love the world provides that fresh breath of air, the rasping, the sea breaking raspingly. All right. My next poem is by Brionne Janae, who I met in this creative writing MFA reading consortium between the three main Boston schools, which were UMass Boston, Emerson, and BU. Brionne Janae was at Emerson at the time and read some of her poems, and instantly I wanted to follow her career because her writing is amazing. And this poem is called Child's Pose. It refers to the yoga pose. So it's a very interesting way that this pose, this curling in and opening both curling in and opening the back, allows trauma to be released. Child's pose. Imagine your heart is just a ball you learned to dribble up and down the length of your driveway back home. Slow down. Control it. Plant your feet in the soft blue of your mat and release it. It is hard, but slowly you are unlearning the shallow pant of your childhood. Extend your body. Do not reach for someone but something fixed and fleshless and certain. Fold, flatten, and lift your head like a cobra sure of the sun. waiting and ready to caress the chill from its scales. Inhale. Try not to remember how desperate you've been for touch. Yes, ignore it. That hitch of your heart you got from mornings you woke to find Mama hysterical or gone. Try to give up the certainty she'd never return. Recall only the return and not its coldness. Imagine her arms wide to receive you. Imagine you are not a thing that needs escaping. It is hard, and though at times you are sure you will always be the abandoned girl trying to abandon herself, push up, arc deep into your back, exhale, and remember, when it is too late to pray, the end of the flood, we pray instead to survive it. I love how the child's pose releases the childhood, the difficulty of childhood, and transforms it. Very interesting. And I think I think this poem leaves us with something for our time, which is that when it's too late to pray the end of the flood, we pray instead to survive it. There's still something to pray for. And this poem is so resilient. I love it. All right, and for my final poem, this one's a bit silly, but this is inspired by eating a delicious watermelon and some of the adventures of the Guarani language, which is what they speak in Paraguay, and it's a very embodied language. So even just in words and saying, in rebuking a child, in swearing, whatever, it really all refers back to the body, and is a very different experience, I think, than English, which especially the Latin root words are very removed. They're very intellectual. Guarani is the opposite. It's close to the body, to the physical form. Eating watermelon with Nya Vicenta. Nya just means senora. Every curse here is cunt. Dera kore, you're a cunt. Kaishinye, smelly cunt. Anya rakoware, devil's cunt. If only I could tell you. Cunt is the instant red melon crush. Tin spooning, pink as tongues and lips from palate to frenulum. Sun-boiled juice cracked between us and waning fast. Lap cradled down the chin. You collect the black seeds in a glass jar. So sweet. We want to grow this one next year. So one of the things that I loved in Paraguay was that, they didn't have as much modified fruit. Like, people would grow their own fruit for every month had a different fresh fruit. And watermelon, this was also the case. And so, people would be growing watermelon in their backyard, but it wasn't seedless. It was the real seeded kind. So if you had a watermelon that you really liked, you would just grab the seeds out and say, I'm going to plant this one. And I think there was just something so joyous in the embodied language and how everything was just cunt, and it was somewhat negative, and I just wanted to say, wait, you're missing something here. This could be something good too. Anyway, I hope in the meantime you stay safe and sane, and I hope to talk to you soon and see you soon. Thanks for joining me. Night. Bye.